Resident Evil Requiem released last week, and man, what a masterpiece. It takes elements from every single previous Resident Evil game and combines them to create an amazing experience. Today we're going to take a look at every boss fight in Resident Evil Requiem and rank them from worst to best. Now in all honesty, it's kinda hard to classify what fights are actually boss fights. Well, I pretty much put every fight that wasn't a common enemy on here. Also, for a certain boss with multiple encounters, I separated all three of her fights because they act very differently. You're just gonna have to trust the process with this list. In total, I came up with 16 different bosses / mini bosses / unique enemy fights. If you have an issue with one of these individuals being classified as a boss, then just take it up with Leon. He told me what to put here and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I'll also be splitting the different sections of the video into tiers that you would see on a tier list. Oh yeah, also major spoiler warning for pretty much the entire game, so if for some reason you haven't played Peak already, then go play that first. But without any further ado, let's get right into every single Resident Evil Requiem boss ranked from worst to best. This first boss is the one and only in F tier, and it's not because it's bad, it's just because it really shouldn't be classified as a boss. Number 16, Mutated Emily. Now there are a few fights on here that probably shouldn't count as bosses, but this one counts the least. For this amazing battle, you just shoot at the Mutated Emily. I'm not sure if you can die here, but you won't as long as you shoot her. It's a very cool story moment, but the fight could have been a cutscene instead. I get that it serves as an impactful moment in the story, and it's even more sad that you have to be the one to pull the trigger. I don't want this to be in last place, but I can't really justify it not being here. Now we're moving on up to D tier, which I considered to have okay bosses. Number 15, the Singing Zombies. I promise this is the last thing that shouldn't even qualify as a mini boss, but I just wanted to put these two goofs on here. In the care center, there's two zombies who just really like to sing. One of my favorite parts about Requiem is that a bunch of the zombies have personalities. I almost put every single infected with personality on the list, but I refrained and only chose the singers. They do act a bit differently than normal zombies though, as they have a loud screeching attack which stuns Grace. They also take a lot more shots to kill than normal zombies, which I think at least elevates them to mini-boss level. You can hear these girls from all over the care center, and they add so much personality to this amazing installment in the franchise. Number 14, the Chef. This big fella is the first mini-boss zombie you encounter in the game. Like all of the mini-bosses, he's completely optional, but if you don't deal with him, he will make your life a living hell. He's got a large cleaver that he uses to attack, and once you kill him, he drops the pantry key, which we can use to open up the pantry to get some goodies. It's just really nice to see unique and fun-looking zombies in the game. He's not like a game changer or anything, but I'm super glad the Chef is here. He's not the best big infected in the game, but he's a solid one nonetheless. Number 13, Plant 43. Now we've arrived at the first real boss on the list, and it's just okay. As you descend lower into the earth, you'll come across a bunch of mutated plants and eventually the big bad of them all. Plant 43 can only be damaged whenever its mouth is open, and when it's not, it'll attack you with its vines. You're supposed to move from side to side while he does this, but I always got hit. Yes, I know, skill issue. Once you damage it enough, a container will open with a bunch of tanks you can hit, causing a fiery explosion which kills the boss. I wasn't really excited during this fight, and even though playing as Leon is super fun, I felt pretty limited here. Not the worst boss I've ever seen, but far from being great. Number 12, Chainsaw Zombie Raccoon City. I promise this is the final questionable boss on here, but this guy just takes so long to put down that I decided to put him on here. This guy, believe it or not, has a chainsaw, and you can even fight him with a chainsaw yourself. You get to fight him right outside a burning gas station, so the setting for the fight is pretty cool. At the end of the day though, it's either you shoot him a whole lot of times, or you have a chainsaw battle. It's just an amped up fight with a chainsaw zombie, but it can be pretty fun. Now we're in C tier, and these are some pretty solid bosses for Resident Evil standards. Number 11, Blisterborns. You'll find a couple of these guys throughout the game, and they're decently fun to fight. There's these little zits all over them, and you have to pop all of them in order to defeat them. You'll fight them both times as Leon, and I think this mini-boss would have been a lot better if you fought it as Grace. Don't worry though, there's another fat boss we'll fight as Grace that you'll see later on. I really enjoy using shotguns in video games, and this just so happens to be one of the most effective weapons to use against Blisterborns. These guys also kinda look like bloaters from The Last of Us, so that's kinda cool. I'm not like stoked out of my mind to fight a Blisterborn, but they're a slightly fun change of pace from the normal enemies. Number 10, Titan Spinner. Sorry if you're afraid of spiders, cause this is one huge spider. This fellow is the first enemy you encounter when you enter Raccoon City, and he's fine enough. The Titan Spinner's weak point is on his back, so you have to sneak up behind it in order to attack it. There's also some propane tanks around the arena that are also effective against the spider. Before the fight itself, you get chased through a broken down building, and for all arachnophobes out there, it's probably pretty terrifying. As it stands though, it's a solid enough boss fight, but why is there a giant spider here? I assume it was some sort of experiment or something, but it honestly just feels kinda random. Really, I'm talking about a giant spider being random when a nuke got dropped on this city and somehow the Welcome Leon sign survived. I'm sorry for being so stupid. Number 9, Chunk Grace Encounter. This guy first appears whenever you make it to the upper floor of the East Wing in the care center. He'll roam around the entire East Wing and is really, really fat. You're not going to be able to take him down with regular bullets, no, so try using the awesome Requiem instead. He goes down with a couple of shots from it and then he explodes, which is awesome. One of the best parts about Resident Evil games is getting chased by super powerful enemies a la Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village. While Chunk is actually killable though, you probably aren't going to do so until right before you go to the basement. I love the personality these enemies have, and Chunk is just a fat tub of lard. Personality. Number 8, the girl, final encounter. It took until halfway through the ranking before we made it to one of the 3 encounters with the girl. The girl is very sensitive to light, and it just so happens that there's a hatch that we can open to let in the sunlight. Unfortunately though, the power is out, so we have to go around and flip some switches to bring the power back on. The girl stalks you as you go to the 3 locations, but she doesn't pose that much of a threat. Before this, you're given a whole bunch of Requiem bullets that can be used to stun her. That makes the entire encounter a whole lot easier and kinda brings it down a few notches. Once you turn the power back on, you can go open up the hatch and shoot the girl to finally end her life. I really like the concept of this, but the other 2 encounters with the girl are a lot better. Now we're moving on to B tier. I'd consider these bosses to be good to great. Number 7, Chunk, Leon encounter. I don't know why or how there are multiple Chunks, but hey, I'm not complaining. I love that even with Leon, you have to fight Chunk in a very claustrophobic area. You also get the shotgun in this area, so that's a huge plus in my book. It's just super fun mowing down this fatty with Leon's equipment. I also love how it instantly shows off how different the Grace and Leon sections are. Yeah, you played as Leon earlier, but this guy who used to be pretty spooky as Grace turns into just another kill for Leon. I'm gonna miss you, Chunk. I desperately hope that we get some Chunk backstory in an inevitable DLC. Number 6, the girl, first encounter. This absolutely terrifying first impression with the girl is going to be remembered for ages. For almost every single portion of the game where you're playing as Grace, you feel absolutely hopeless, and the girl is a big reason for that feeling. After freeing yourself from Victor Gideon, you get to walk around the care center. You'll eventually find a lighter providing you with some light, and there's a bunch of rooms to explore. Through this specific door though lies the girl, and holy man, what a terrifying creature. It almost makes the fetus baby from Resident Evil Village look like a cute teddy bear. As you try to escape the room, you'll learn that you need a battery, which is locked away, so now you need a screwdriver. The screwdriver, however, is placed up a bit higher than Grace can reach, and you'll need to move a cart so you can reach it. Unfortunately though, the cart has some very fragile equipment on it, and if you move it too fast, the girl will hear you and come chasing after you. The whole section is absolutely horrifying and is super stressful. The girl encounter sets the tone for the rest of the care center area and is a phenomenal boss. Somehow though, it's not the best encounter with this fiend. Number 5, Mr. X. The amount of fear and stress I felt the second this dude showed up on my screen. He's of course not nearly as menacing this time around, and honestly he's a bit slow. Before you get to the actual fight with him, he chases you around the RPD for a little bit, which is super nostalgic. Of course, this is a huge reference to Resident Evil 2, but for some reason he doesn't have the hat, which is disappointing. Once you get to the actual fight, you have to just shoot him in the heart while dodging all of his attacks. He'll do all sorts of things like chucking cars at you, jump attacking you, or even charging at you with his mutated arm. You can parry the charge, and as we'll see later, parrying is so fun to me in this game. I definitely prefer this guy in Resident Evil 2, but it was very nice to see the return of Mr. X. Let's hope he truly, finally stays dead this time. Yes nerds, I know it's not the same, please get out of my head. Number 4, Victor Gideon motorcycle fight. This whole section has been kinda controversial since it's the most action-oriented part of the game, but personally I loved this. Believe it or not, this entire section follows Leon chasing Victor Gideon while on a motorcycle. Victor is also accompanied by some Garms, which are just big wolves. You have infinite ammo throughout the entire fight, so it's not hard at all, but man is it cool. Leon is just the absolute embodiment of testosterone, and everything he does during this section is so cool. At the very end, there's this pretty awesome standoff between the two where Leon gets the upper hand and definitely kills Gideon for real because he definitely won't come back later. I can absolutely understand if some of you don't agree with this fight's placement, but I just love how over the top epic it is. I mean, Leon literally drives up a building. It doesn't get much cooler than that. We've finally made it to A tier, which is going to be the last tier of the video. A tier bosses are great and the cream of the crop in this game. Number 3, the girl, basement encounter. This section of the game is super long, so it kind of feels like cheating allowing it to be on here. The whole reason you're down here anyway is because the girl decided to take Emily and lock her in prison. In order to get Emily and escape, you have to get 3 joint plugs in order to get the power back on. I'm not going to go over every single thing in the basement because there is a lot, but just know it's so much fun to go through. There's a bunch of jump scares with the girl, and somehow this encounter is even scarier than the first. My favorite part of this entire encounter is when you're in some sort of meat grinder that crushes a bunch of zombies while some of them try to take you with them. When the power turns back on, you get Emily and quickly dash to the elevator. As you ascend, there is one last scare with the girl trying to break in, but luckily she loses her hand and seems to be out of Grace's life. That is of course until the final encounter. I think the basement is my favorite part of the game, which begs the question, how come this boss isn't number 1? Well, I mean, I just think it would be cheap if I didn't put an actual boss in the top 2. Just know that I thought of you you guys when I made this list, because I just know someone would have roasted me if this was in the top spot. I mean, you're probably gonna roast me anyway, because oh boy do I have bad opinions. Number 2, the Commander/Hunk. I know it's not likely that this dude is Hunk, but I just think it would be really funny if it was. This is the second to last boss in the game, and I can definitely understand if some people have him in their top spot. This guy is very similar to the Major Krauser fight from RE4 because you can only use your melee weapon. Parrying is super satisfying in this game, and there's some goofy dialogue in the fight. The Commander will also burst some pipes, making it hard to see where he's lurking. This is such a great fight that I wish just went on a little bit longer. But coming in at number 1, we have Victor Gideon. Yes, the final boss fight in the game is in my opinion the very best one. He's got 2 separate phases, with the first one being my personal favorite. Victor himself is super tanky, which is greatly appreciated for the final boss. It makes him feel so epic. From time to time, Victor will harness electricity and shoot the electricity at Leon alongside jumping at him. I also really like the dialogue between these 2 buffoons throughout the entire boss. Eventually you'll reach the second and final phase of the fight where out of nowhere Victor turns into a nemesis. That means that this second phase of the fight is very similar to previous nemesis fights, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I really enjoy fighting him, and popping all these big red pimples is super fun. After doing that for a bit, we get grabbed by Gideon, and because Leon is the coolest human being to ever exist, he just climbs up Gideon and starts hacking at him to end the fight. We then get an absolutely awesome cutscene where Leon blows Gideon to smithereens. I enjoyed this game as a whole, but this ending was amazing to me. It's not the best fight out of all the Resident Evil games, but man is it a great one. And that's every boss in Resident Evil Requiem ranked. Sorry for the shorter video, but in all honesty, there's not a whole lot to talk about with some of these fellas. I've also got a bunch of big videos coming in the near future, so stay tuned. I'm going to try to keep the consistent upload schedule of Saturdays at noon Central Time, but I'm a bit behind in college right now, so no promises. Before I go though, I have to give a very special shout out to the very first JICBean loyalist, Alice in Elden Ring. If you want to become a JICBean loyalist, then just hit that join button. But that's going to do it for me. Have a phenomenal rest of your day, and we'll be seeing ya.